So in this part, I want us to be able to display the chat title here, that is like for the chat history. I want us to make sure that whenever we write our prompt over here, we can get like a history. We can store the history of the prompt and store the chat title here, or we can store the first text that we sent to the AI as the chat title, right? So yeah, so let's basically get started. Now, as you can see, we are inside the chat routes, right? So inside the chat routes, what we want to do is we want to come to the bottom here, and then we want to say router dot get, right? In case you're finding it hard to get to the chat route, come to the route and then we select chat.route, right? Then over here we'll say get, then inside this get we'll pass in the user. So we'll say user, and then that is going to be, yeah, you're going to do it like this. So this is the route or the endpoint for it. Then we'll say click require, yeah, so require auth, the one we took from the top here. You can just take the same thing, right? Let's basically copy this whole part. So we copy this part, and then we come here, then we paste it, and then yeah, just end it with this closing curly braces. Then inside you're going to start by collecting the user ID. So we say user ID is going to be equal to the request.auth.user ID. Alright, now that we've been able to take the user ID after being authenticated, we want to start a try catch block. So inside this try catch block, we would log out the error, right? In case there are any, we will log out the error. Now that we have logged it out, we want to go inside and then say user chats, right? Then inside this user chat, we want to await the user chat, and then we want to find user chats by the user ID that we passed through, right? So user chats, then we find it by the user ID. Then right after finding them, we want to send them back as a response. So we say rest the status 200, then we would say JSON rest the status 200 JSON is user chats, right? User chats, then we would select the first chat inside, or we select the first data inside. So let's do it like this, yeah. So yeah, then you say chats. Okay, so now that we are sending the response back like this, right, we should basically know that we are set up, right? Okay, I think something is going on here. I want this to reference. Let's reopen it back. Yeah, it's now referencing it. So yeah, that's it. So now that this is working, right, we want to come and display the chats here, right? But for that, we are going to be using React query. So for React query, I want us to quickly navigate to this side. So this is the installation section of React query. I'm using npm, so I'll just copy this npm, and then over here what we'll do is I'll just paste it, and we need to add our force flag. So oh no, mistake. You're supposed to cd into frontend and then install inside the frontend folder, or the frontend part of the application. Sorry, force. So yeah, you hit force, you add the force flag, it installs React query. Now right after installing React query, we are supposed to set up our project in the same kind of way we can use, right? So for that, we'll just click on quick start, right? So if you don't want to minimize the screen like this, you see the quick start right around here. Okay, so this is the quick start, and then we want to first of all import this, right? So we need a React query, we need a query client, right? So in order for us to be able to do that, we'll go into the root layout.jsx here, and then right under this publishable key that we have, we'll pass this. Then we need to copy this whole thing, this part. We need to copy this part and then paste it under here, right? Then right after we've pasted it, I don't know, yeah, now it's back, it's showing. Yeah, so there are a few things you need to clear. This one and this one, we do not need them anymore. And I think, yeah, the user button we do need, and the signing we do need. But yeah, apart from that, this one we need the query client and the query client provider over here, but we do not need the query client and use mutation or use query over here either. So now that we have this, what we need to do is we need to be able to wrap our application around the query client provider. Now in order for us to be able to do that, we'll go into this. Oh yeah, I forgot. I actually thought it would be here, but it's actually behind. So yeah, it's here. So we'll copy this, then right under here we'll come and paste it here. So I'm going to paste, and it's here. Then I'll just cut this off, Control X, cut it. Then I'll come and paste it here. Then I'll save, right? So now that we've been able to do this, we've been able to wrap application around the query client provider, we can now move on to displaying the chat title right at the history section. So what we are going to do is we'll quickly go to the chat menu, right? So the chat menu here, go to chat menu.gsx. Let's first of all start by let's clean up all of these sample chat titles that we have, right? So we've cleaned it. Now we are going to need like a couple of things. Let's go into query. Okay, so inside the queries here, we're going to need a few things. Okay, these are the things that we are going to need. Let's come and copy this. So you see the function to do's, then we come and paste it here. Alright, so you can see that we're basically taking a bunch of stuff. Is pending, that is similar to is loading, is error, that is trying to check if there's an error. Then the data takes the response that is coming from the function, and then the error, is the error. So you can print that out into your console or wherever in your application you want to use it in. So this query key, we are going to change it to user chat. Okay, so based off of this query key, that's how we are going to have to use to manipulate our data or show our data and stuff like that, do stuff with our data at different parts of our application, right? So let me remove this function, okay, or we'll replace this function, right? But before that, let's import the use query. Okay, so use query is here now, right? Then what we are going to do is, it has to be user chats. So what we are going to do now is we are going to write the API function for getting the user chats, and then for that we are going to come here, then we'll copy this, come down here, come and paste it, then we'll see fetch user chats, right? Then we remove this we remove this 2 as well, then we make this /user, right? Because that was how we set it up in our project, and it was a get request. It was a get request as well. And so now that we are done working with that, what we are going to do is inside the chat menu, we just have to say fetch user chats. Yes, and that's it. Once we have this, once we've been able to do this, all right, this fetch user chat over here, all we have to do is remove s error over here, right? Because we don't need it. That's why there's no technical reason behind it. We don't need it. We just don't need it. So over here, right, what we are going to do is we are going to write a few functions, right, a few things. Now we are going to first of all check, is it pending, so, or is it loading? If it's loading, give us loading. Okay, if it's loading, tell us that it's loading. But if it's not loading, check again if there's an error, right? Let's check. Yes, so check again if there's an error. If there's an error, tell us that something went wrong. You get now. But if it's not an error, you want to make sure that we are, if it's neither of them, right, we want to make sure that we are rendering out the links that we have here, right? So I'll quickly cut this out and then paste it inside here. Then right after pasting it, we want to do a few things here. So you can see over here, we can't just paste the link here. We need data to pass through so we can display, right? Let's go back. Okay, so for the data that we need to pass through, we'll take it from data, right? We'll check if this data is in. Once the data is in, we need to take it from the data object of that data, right? And then we map through. Okay, so you map through, and then once you map through, you collect the chat. Okay, you collect the chat. So let's collect the chat first. Then right after collecting the chat, you use this. Okay, I think I'm coming. So let's quickly wrap this around a bracket. Okay, so you take the chat here, and then you now pass it in as chat.title, right? Then you come here, and then you come and set the link that whenever you click on a chat, it should, or you click on a chat history, it should navigate you to dashboard, chats, and the chat ID, right? So it's based off of this ID that we are going to use to identify the chat that we are actually in. Then we'll display all conversations inside that chat, right? Then let's make sure that we are adding the key. So for the key, I'm going to say the key is chat.id. That's it. That's basically it. So as you can see, it is showing over here. But how come we are doing it data.data, right? Like, how come it's data.data? Now for that, we are going to check for ourselves the reason why it's data.data. So if we log out data here, and I open up the console by doing Ctrl+Shift+I, you see it here. Okay, Okay, I want us to refresh. You see here, so you realize it's also in another data object. That is why we took data and then we had to enter data again. You get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, so you can see that's basically what we are working with. All right, so we are going to end it here for now. Like I said, we are taking things little by little, no rush. So in the next part, or in the next episode, we are going to basically navigate to any of these charts over here. You can see it says handle submit is not defined. Don't worry, this is very simple to fix. We are going to go to new prompt, and then we just uncomment out what we commented out here. So just uncomment it. Yeah, so we are going to basically display all the conversations inside the chats over here, right? So if we navigate to another chat, we should be able to fetch just that single chat. Okay, so yes, that's basically what we are going to be working on in the next video. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.